If you are looking to chat with your own SQL data in any SQL database, including SQL Server, Oracle, SQLite, Postgres, MySQL, and the list goes on, then maybe have a look at this new tool called as Vanna.ai. This not only lets you create the whole setup locally with the Ollama or any other API based LLM, but you can also use their hosted services. I just did a introductory video on Vanna.ai this morning, which you can check out on the channel, and I will also drop the link in video description where I go into detail as what is the architecture of Vanna, how you can install it, and all that stuff. But for the purpose of this video, I am going to show you how you can use this Vanna.ai with your local database with your local model run by Ollama. If you don't know what Ollama is, please search my channel. I have done heaps of videos on it. Ollama is one of the easiest and simplest tool to run large language models locally, and I am already running few of them and I will show you shortly. So for this demo, I'm going to use SQLite database locally, but you can simply point it to any of the database of your choice, wherever it is running, whether it is running in the cloud or it is such as AWS RDS database or Azure SQL database or whatever there is, you can use it, or if it is your on-prem database. Now, before I show you the installation, let me give a huge thanks to Massed Compute who are sponsoring the VM and the GPU which I am using for this video. This is a VM Ubuntu 22.04 and this is a GPU card NVIDIA RTX A6000 with 48 GB of VRAM. If you are looking to rent a GPU on affordable prices, I will drop the link to their website in video description, and I'm also be putting a discount coupon which will give you 50% discount on an already discounted offering. So do check them out. Let me clear the screen. For the purpose of this video, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the Jupyter notebook from their VM, which is quite easy to use. So let me start that. I'm just going to minimize this and then I'm simply clicking here. It is going to start the Jupyter notebook and you can readily use it from their VM. Just going to file, new, and then notebook. Okay, so now we are now in our notebook. So first let's create our database, which is SQLite one, and then we will proceed with installing Vanna locally and then we'll see how it goes. Also, for the sample data, I'm just going to use a simple CSV file from the web. This contains the sample dummy finance data with the products, channel partners, countries, and all that stuff. And you can use whatever data you want, but I just downloaded it from the web. It's an open source one. So this is a CSV file through which I will be creating my SQLite database. Okay, so let's go back to our notebook and let's install and import the database first. Let me create it. So you see, first I'm just importing SQLite and pandas library, and then I'm reading that CSV file which is already on my local system, and then I'm creating this database called as FinanceDB, and it is already done. It's very quick. Let me also create a data frame with the help of that pandas. Okay, so it says so it says that it couldn't find the finance, so I would just need to change that to the database name, which is FinanceDB. Let me quickly do that. So what I have done is I have just created a table on top of that database by simply using df.sql command, and I'm just calling it finance. After importing it, I have committed that, and then I am reading the SQL query and then printing it out, and you see that it has printed it in the tabular form. So that's all we needed to do here. Let's move forward. I'm just going to move ahead, and there are 700 rows in total. Let's also define our Vanna with ChromaDB and Ollama. ChromaDB is a vector store which I'm going to use locally. You won't have to worry about it. It is going to create it all by itself. Also, as you can see, I'm using Ollama here. Now, this is the right time to show you the Ollama. So let me go back to my terminal and I'm going to quickly show you. Simply run Ollama list and you will see that I have two models running with Ollama Mistral and Unto. If you haven't got Mistral, because that is what I'm going to use, simply run Ollama run Mistral and it is going to download the model for you. I already have it, as you can see. Okay, so let's go back, and here we are first installing this Vanna with ChromaDB, and then we are instantiating this Ollama class. This is their syntax which they need, so I just wait for it. So it is already done. Okay, so let's move forward. Now once that's done, let's specify our model, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to just use this Mistral model here. So let me run it. It is done. Let's also connect this Vanna to our finance DB, which is running locally, and it is in the same directory. If you have it on different path, just give the full path here. Okay, so that is done. Let's also grab all the SQL or DDLs, their data definition language, from this database. Now this is where I would highly suggest you go and check out my other video if you haven't watched it already. So this is how this Vanna.ai works. There are two parts of it. First, we train it on our DDL data so that it would know what sort of data definition is present on our database. And this is what this command is doing. And once it is trained, then we ask the questions from our database. Okay, so let me run it. So that is done. And you can give it as many DDLs as you like. So once we have these DDLs, we can just simply train it by using this command. And this is just a simple Python function, as you can see, and you see it has gone into the database. It has pulled out all the DDL statements, which is just one, by the way, because we have just created one table and trained it on it. That's it. Okay, but if you want, you can even give it more DDL statements by yourself, because the other one, it got it from data dictionary of the database. But if you want to give it more by your own, for example, you want to have another table which you want this model to know, Mistral, you can simply add it like this. So if I run here, it has added that as an embedding or a numerical representation to that database. Also, if you want to add any documentation about your database or your application, you can add it like this. A train documentation, our business define this is run. That's it. So it has added the documentation too. You can even give it SQL queries. So for example, you know that what sort of queries your application have, you can simply give it like this here. There you go. So it has even added, you see the, by using Mistral and Ollama, it has even trained your Mistral model on this query. And then if you want to see what sort of training data is there, you can simply run this command, that vn.get training data, and this is all the training data which we have just trained our Mistral model on as per our own queries, our own data. Okay, and then for example, if you want, so this is the training part. Now if you, second and final part is to ask questions, obviously. So the questions, you ask them in simple natural language, and it is going to return you the similar result. So for example, if I ask this, so this is the rag here, it has just returned us the top similar results as per our own query, and then also it has given us it in the graphical format, and that is the beauty of it. And if you want to run the application in GUI or in your browser, let's say using Flask, all you need to do is to run this. Let me run it, and the application is running on localhost, and this is our application where you can chat with your own data. So for example, first let me click on this training data. This is all which we have trained it on. As you can see, this is all the stuff which we trained it on. And then if you want to ask questions, you can just ask anything, and it will going to convert it into SQL set. What is top product in Canada? It's thinking, and it is going to give you the uh, product, because we haven't attached it to the database, that is why. But here it is unable to find the product column. So make sure that whatever you are using is it's also in your database. But you see, I just asked it in the natural language, it has produced this query, and it's a perfect query. as per your SQLite database. Whatever database you would use, it is going to convert that SQL. And then you can just simply attach your database application with it and ask questions from. So because I haven't attached my LLM with this app to see my data, that is why it is not watching it. And there are API calls which you can make to watch your data. And there are a lot of stuff in this. You can explore on your own, because if you go to their website, you will see that there are some documentation which you can check. For example, you can um, go to how Vanna works, and it is going to show you all of it. You can see whatever databases. For example, click on SQL database. You want to see how to set up Oracle, you go to Oracle here, and then they will give you step-by-step instruction as how to do it and how to set up your Oracle database to generate SQL for Oracle. So amazing stuff, really. I'm quite impressed by it, and I'll be playing more with it. I will drop the link to it in video description. Also, don't worry about the commands. I will drop all the commands which I have used in my blog, and I will drop the link in video's description. If you like the content, please consider subscribing to the channel, and if you're already subscribed, please share it among your network as it helps. Thanks for watching.